What would you do if a big, mean-looking bull was charging at you? Would you stand your ground or try to get out of its way? Well, it turns out that there's actually some science behind deciding what to do in this situation. But bulls don't typically charge people unless they have a very good reason to. Lots of other animals like horses and even chicks will charge at red things. But why you'd probably think that the bull is mad, and the red color just happens to make it angrier. But that's not true. Bulls aren't actually mad. They're just scared. Like if you got in their way while they were trying to get to something they wanted to eat or somewhere they wanted to go, they would likely just bump you out of their way. They're afraid of things with a certain visual pattern known as motion contrast. Motion contrast is how noticeable a moving object is against a background of a different color. For example, a black and white striped zebra is easy to spot against the brown background of a savanna. But a zebra would be much harder to see against a background of similar stripes. However, there is one thing that makes bulls absolutely lose their minds. A red flag. Not just as the flag waving in the wind. But fortunately for humans, most animals can't see us as clearly as we can see them. And our motion contrast against most backgrounds is pretty low. So while we might seem like a blurry, shapeless mass to a bull, we don't usually appear threatening. It takes what it sees and interprets it as a separate object. So the more motion contrast in an object, the more likely it is to trigger a bull's fight or flight response. And surprisingly, it might be best to stand your ground. When most people think of a bull, they probably imagine a large horned mammal that can be dangerous if aggravated. That high contrast between the dark hair and light coat can make us seem like a big, scary monster to a bull. Just kidding. Run away as fast as you can. Y'all make it possible for us to bring fun science videos to everyone for free. If you'd like to help support the channel and get fun perks like submitting a minion video idea, then check out our support page. So if you ever get into a fight with a bull, make sure you take your lab coat off first. 2 bulls. A red flag looks like a hungry, angry bull charging directly at them. Because bulls are prey animals, they're programmed to run away from things that look like they want to eat them. So instead of being mad, the bull is just scared and running away from what it perceives to be a dangerous threat. If you were to wave a red flag in front of a bull, it would probably charge you. And this behavior isn't unique to bulls. Now, what they see when they look at a red flag isn't a red flag. It's a scary monster. So if a bull ever charges you, remember that it's not your fault. It's not because you did anything wrong or because it's mad at you. Why does the bull think that the red flag is a monster? After all, red flags have been around for centuries, and most animals probably haven't seen that many of them. So it's unlikely that bulls have learned to associate red flags with danger. And if they haven't, then why do they react so strongly to them? It's just scared and trying to get away from what it thinks is a monster made out of pure evil. But there's still one question we haven't answered. Well, it turns out that bulls aren't actually afraid of red flags specifically. And a bull's perception of a red flag waving in the wind has a lot of motion contrast, because the bull sees the movement of the flag is a whole new thing. Now, if you happen to be wearing a bright red shirt with white stripes, you might want to keep your distance from bulls because you could trigger their fight or flight response too. However, there are times where we can seem extra threatening. Like when we re-wearing those big white lab coats we always seem to wear in old school movies. So now you know exactly what to do if you find yourself face to face with an angry bull. Just stand your ground and slowly back away. Thanks for watching this episode, which was brought to you by our incredible community of patrons.